I like make a wish or something. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I think too. Absolutely. Jan? I feel very grateful when the technology works, and amplified by the times that it might not. So we're going to begin this evening with Hine Matov, which is on page 4. I'm glad to be together this evening and to celebrate Shabbat. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. 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 Everything okay? Okay. Oh, no, you're welcome. We're glad to have you here. Hi, I'm Rabbi Alicia. Welcome. Just like a mass exodus, like all of a sudden, I was like, oh boy. We're going to continue with Oziv Zimrat Yah on page 6. These words, Oziv Zimrat Yah, you are my strength and my song and my salvation, has been sort of getting me through these last 2 weeks. I feel... it says here it's from Psalm 118, which is true, but it actually comes first from Exodus, from the Song of the Sea. Oziv Zimrat Yah, God, you are my strength and my song and my salvation, which just seems to be just like the words propping me up these days. So please join me. Oziv Zimrat Yah, Vayehi li lishua. Oziv Zimrat Yah, Vayehi li lishua. We're going to continue welcoming Shabbat with candle lighting. Spitzer, since you're here, would you mind coming up to light the candles for us this evening? Yeah. Or else how will everybody see your matching outfits if it's only one of you? Well, that way you don't get lost.
That's right.
Yeah.
If we're in a store, he knows.
I think it's a wonderful system. I love it. We're on page 9.
Oh, she had it unlocked.
There we go.
I'll light them, she sings. You want it that way.
That's, yes, you're correct. Thank you. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu lemitzvotav, v'tzivanu le'adlik ner shel Shabbat. Good Shabbos. Thank you both. Shabbat Shalom. So good to see you. We're going to continue welcoming Shabbat with Shalom Aleichem on page 10. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharei, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeitzchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Kabbalat Shabbat. Kabbalat means welcoming, but it also means receiving. And this week, to me, Shabbat feels like we are receiving a big gift of rest. And I hope y'all are feeling a little bit of that too. The Kabbalah, to receive or to welcome. We're going to continue on page 14. Lecha lecha dodi, likra kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likra kala, penei Shabbat nekabela la la la. Lecha dodi, likra kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likra kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, hishmi'anu el hameyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shem v'tiferet v'litchila la la la, lecha dodi likra kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi likra kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki hi mekor haberacha, merosh mikadem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshavat chila la la la, lecha dodi likra kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi likra kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, kiva ora kumiori, uri, shir daberi, kavod Adonai ailech la 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 la, lecha dodi likra kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi likra kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. We rise and face the door. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'v'tzola, toch emunei am segula, boi chala, lecha dodi likra kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likra kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Bruce really articulated what we were all feeling there. Well, I can't explain that. We're going to continue with Chatzi Kaddish. The first part of our service is L'Kabel, to welcome. We welcome Shabbat, and now we transition into the beginning piece of our service, the Ma'ariv, the evening prayers. We are on page 17. Yitkadal v'yikadash shemei Rava be'alma divarach yirtzeh v'yamlech malchuteh b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayedechu be'Yisrael ba'agala uv'izman kariv ve'imeru amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam lo me'almaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalel v'yitalal shemei lekudesha b'richu le'ela min kol verchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma ve'imeru amen. Please rise as we continue with the Baruch Hu, our call to worship on page 18. Be seated. We are going to continue praying in the English at the top of page 20, our prayer poem for Ma'ariv Aravim. Somewhere in the fringes of the night, the shadows of darkness soften, and earth comes alive with hints of light. And my heart fills with fresh, bright hope, and the world stirs to give birth to color. Colors are secrets not seen in the dark, like the promise of God when darkness is visible. Creator, you who bring dawn from the darkness, break the used goblets of my yesterdays. Let me find wisdom in the shards and grow in knowledge of your eternal presence. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. Blessed are you, Almighty One, who makes the evenings fall. We continue with Ahavat Olam at the bottom of that page, a prayer about how everlasting love from God is a part of our everyday existence. Ahavat Olam Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Hukim u'mishpatim, Otanu lemadeta, Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shachbenu, Kumenu nasiach bechukecha, V'nismach b'divrei Toratacha, Uv'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki chem chayenu, Ve'orech yameinu, Uvahem nege yomam v'layla, Nege yomam v'layla, Ve'ahavadcha al tasir, Mimenu le'olamim, Baruch ata Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael, Ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai echad, Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, Bechol levavecha, Uvechol nafshecha, Uvechol me'odecha, Ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele, Asher anochi metzavecha, Hayom alevavecha, Veshinantam levanecha, Vedibarta bam, Beshivtecha b'veitecha, Uvelechtecha v'derech, Uveshachbecha uvekumecha, Ukshartam leot al yadecha, V'hayu letotafo b'neinecha, Uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, Uvisharecha, Leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'tem kedoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Asher hotzetzi etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, v'hiyot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. We're going to continue with Micha Mocha, a prayer that comes right out of the same, it's the next line after Ovaziv V'zimrat Yah that we sang at the beginning. This is the next line, Micha Mocha Ba'ilim Adonai, right out of the Song of the Sea, of who is like you, God, doing wonders, who is like you amongst all doing wonders. We are on page 25. Micha mocha ba'elim Adonai, Micha mocha neder b'kodesh, Nora tehilot osefele, Nora tehilot osefele. Malachutecha ra'u vanecha, Bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, Za'elianu ve'amru, Za'elianu ve'ameru, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. Yai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai, 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 lai. We're going to continue with Hashkivenu, which is on page 26 and 27. This idea of a Sukkot Shalom, of a Sukkot of peace, a shelter of peace. It's just, the imagery is just so beautiful. This is a prayer that's said every evening. I love to be a nerd about liturgy a little bit. This is a prayer that's said in the evening right before the Amidah as a reminder of what we walk with through life, a shelter of peace. Oh, guide my steps and help me find my way. I need your shelter now. So rock me in your arms and guide my steps and help me make this day a song of praise to you. So rock me in your arms and guide my steps. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Page 29. To pray is to regain a sense of the mystery that animates all beings, the divine margin in all attainments. Prayer is our humble answer to the inconceivable surprise of living. It is all we can offer in return for the mystery by which we live. How strange we are in the world and how presumptuous our doings. Only one response can maintain us: gratefulness for witnessing the wonder, for the gift of our unearned right to serve, to adore, and to fulfill. It is gratefulness which makes the soul great. We will continue with the Amidah, our standing prayer on page 51, Amidah to stand, and I invite you to do so. We will continue there. Adonai sefatai tifzach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Eternal God, open my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzhak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Leah Elohei Rachel Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor HaNorah El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Vekonei HaKol Vezocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot U'mei Gula Livnei B'nei Ham Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava Melech Uzer Moshiach Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Abraham Be'ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechayei HaKol Atah Rav Lehoshia Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed Mechayei HaKol Berachamim Rabim Somech Noflim Berofech Oholim Umatir Asurim Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar Michamocha Ba'al Gevurot Umido Melech Melech Minit Umechayeh Umatzmiach Yeshua V'ne'eman atah lehachayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai Mechayeh hakol Atah kadosh Shimcha kadosh U'kadoshim b'chol yom Yahalu chasela Baruch atah Adonai I invite you to be seated. We are going to continue with the Shamru, our covenant of Shabbat, that also comes from the book of Exodus. Exodus, so exciting. So much liturgy from Exodus. Let's sing together. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Page 55. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Beni uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti le'olam, oti le'olam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai, Asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz ve'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ubayom hashvi'i shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. We are going to continue now with a few moments of silence. You can pray the prayers in the next several pages or the prayers of your own heart, and we will join back together in just a moment. Elohai netzor leshoni merma, usatai medaber merma, ulim kalalai nafshi tidom, v'nafshkiv kafar lachoti Elohai, Elohai. Elohai netzor leshoni merma, usatai medaber merma, Velim kalalai nafshi tidom, v'nashi kafar lachoti Elohai, Elohai. Petach, petach libi, petach, petach libi, petach libi, letoratecha. Elohai netzor leshoni merma, usvatai medaber merma, velim kalalai nafshi tidom, v'nafshi kafar lachoti Elohai, Elohai. Yehiyu leratzonim refi, v'hegyon libi lefanecha, Adonai, 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 my friends. We find ourselves in another Shabbat, another week. As I was thinking about today, this week's Torah portion is Mishpatim, which is the word for laws or judgments or sentences, really. And I started thinking about, after last week's, my favorite Torah portion, this week, sure to be a letdown, And I was doing some thinking and studying, and Rabbi Rick Jacobs, who is the president of the Union for Reform Judaism, did this podcast a couple of years back called Taste of Torah or something like 10 Minutes of Torah, something. It's like his recordings on Mishpatim, on different Torah portions throughout the year. And the one that I was listening to he talked about this idea of what we find in this Torah portion this week is the idea of an eye for an eye, which is something that we all have heard before in parlance, but also, talking about an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, a life for a life. And so if you read the Torah literally word for word, that means, okay, you took out my eye, I'm going to take out your eye. In the time the Torah was written, taking out somebody's eye was a death sentence for sure, right? So it's gross, but it's true. And then, is that really what it meant? You blind me, so I blind you back? Because it doesn't sit well with me. I don't know how you feel about it, but it certainly doesn't work for me. But luckily, we don't read the Torah with just the words of Torah, not just, but only the words in the scroll. We also are lucky to have centuries of commentary and centuries of rabbinic thought that helps us to understand what these words are really saying. So, Rashi teaches that this line from Mishpatim, which, by the way, is a moment in which, now that Moses has set up the courts with the help of his father-in-law Yitro from last week, this week, Moses is now doling out punishments, right? So, or sentences and sort of dealing with the actual functionality of said system. So, Rashi says that actually this doesn't mean I take out your eye, you take out my eye. It means the monetary value. Right? So if losing an eye meant to somebody that they would no longer be able to work, you are responsible for then paying for their family or whatever they needed in order to make sure that they could sustain their life. Seems reasonable. Obviously the first thing is don't take out somebody else's eye, right? That's where was baseline, and so this could seem okay, so then that's Rashi. So then Ibn Ezra says you have to be more precise than that, right? You have to look at it and say, what was done? Was it malicious? Was there intent? And all those things around making a judgment call, right? But reading it cold is very exacting of revenge. It feels, it's not who we are, right? And Rabbi Jacobs was mentioning that he had a professor in college who said, the biblical Israelites, the Hebrews really, their system of justice is very cold and straightforward. And, there's no getting around it. But what that professor did not know is that there's a line in Deuteronomy, for example, that says, if your son is rebellious and stubborn, take him out to the gate and stone him to death. And the rabbis, first of all, whose son is not rebellious and stubborn? Whose child really is not rebellious and stubborn? All inclusive. And then second of all, no parent is going to do that. Right, you spend a lot of, besides the fact that you love your kids, you spend a lot of time and money raising them, so it feels like a waste of an investment. But, also, this idea, like, you're not going to go and kill your child even if they're being a jerk. Thank you, parents. I know they're watching, so I appreciate that. But the rabbis spent an entire tractate of Talmud figuring out what that really means and finding ways to okay, so what is stubborn? What is rebellious? What is a son? How old is it? Do you have one chest hair or two chest hair? It's that exacting. And I spent an entire semester studying that tractate of Talmud, which was truly one line of Torah, an entire chapter of Talmud. And so I feel very lucky that we get to read these words in context, or else it would be really hard for me to relate to this book that we consider to be so holy. Because if the things that are in there, right, and it's not to say that, what I say to the B'nai Mitzvah kids is we take it seriously but not literally. And even those who are the most, or this isn't a Reform rabbi thing or a Rabbi Elisha thing, this is, or an HUC thing, a seminary thing, this is all Jews use the majority of Jews, let's not say all, in case, the majority of Jews use this commentary as a lens through which we look at our holiest text. So even the most Orthodox among us are studying this piece of Talmud oh, okay, well, Rashi says this, and Sforno says this, and I feel very lucky to come from a tradition like that. First of all, it's wonderful to know that I'm not the only one struggling. And I think that's true in any case, right? If you're ever struggling with something, it's nice to know you're not the only one who's ever gone through something. But in this particular case, it's nice to know that centuries of Jews before me, and probably centuries after, God willing, will struggle with this text. And it really makes me feel like a part of something. So I thought I would bring that here with me this evening, because I feel really also grateful not only to be a part of this long tradition, but to be a part of this particular community that celebrates that tradition. So as you're thinking about sort of what's going to happen this week, and maybe even just the next 24 hours of Shabbat, if you can sort of focus on that, I invite you to think about all of the people who came before us and all the people who will come after us in our tradition and how we got to this moment. It's pretty beautiful. Shabbat shalom, everybody. So as is our custom, this evening we will now turn our thoughts to the people in our community and the people who we are thinking of who are in need of healing of body and of mind and of spirit. We pray with the entirety of all of those people who came before us, all of their collective spirits, and our own hearts as we think about Donna Prentice Bonner, Rebecca Harris, Craig Cook, Cindy Silverman, Mary Haller, Steve and Sharon Burns, Mike Ingber, Barbara Saul, Suzanne Kovacs, and Doreen Billett. If there's somebody else you are thinking of this evening whose name you'd like to share with our community as you pray for healing, I'll invite you to do so. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm also thinking of all the people who were injured this morning in Pittsburgh, and all the congregants and the entire community of Rabbi Charlie Citron Walker. We turn to page 67 and say our prayer for healing, our Mishaberach prayer. Please join me. Misheberach Avotenu Mekor Habracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach Imotenu Mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Before we conclude our service with Aleinu and some other concluding prayers, I'm going to invite Buck forward to make some announcements. Buck is the treasurer of the Board of Trustees and the person keeping us all afloat. I'm supposed to say something first before that. Today is Elaine Silverman's 90th birthday. And Elaine, we wish you a healthy and happy one. We are grateful you are a part of our community, and we are so excited to celebrate you. So, hi, happy birthday. We're glad you're able to celebrate you this evening. Okay, Buck, it's all yours.
Thank you, Rabbi Alicia.
Oh, thank you.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. So join us. Oh, I'm sorry, you got that.
Stand in front of one or the other. Choose a microphone to stand in front of.
Okay, how's that? Okay. Senior citizens wanted to share the stories of their lives with our family ed students. For more information, please contact Joyce May. A walking group is forming at Shir Tikvah, although we will not meet this Sunday. The group meets on Sundays at 12:30 p.m. in our parking lot. Contact Faye Blatt with interest. Due to a scheduling conflict, the February Lunch and Learn will meet on the third Tuesday of February on the 15th at noon. Mark your calendar for a congregation-wide financial update on Zoom taking place on Sunday, February 13th. This is a big picture information session. Check your e-blast for the link. And save the date of Friday, March 11th for Rabbi Alicia's installation service, celebration service. Have you been joining us either in person or virtually for Shabbat services and are interested in membership? Please contact our Executive Director, Lorelei Berg, at info@shirtikvah.org with questions or to learn more. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Shabbat shalom. Thanks, Buck. Thank you for being our host trustee. Thank you, Jan, for making things work here. And thank you to Patty for hosting us on Zoom this evening. We are going to continue now with Aleinu, which is on page 74. I'll invite you to rise. Paul, would you like to come up and open the ark? Please rise. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'tekidu l'aliyotzer breshit, shelo asanu b'nei haratzot, ve'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo samanu Please be seated for a moment. Hold on to what is good, even if it is a handful of earth. Hold on to what you believe, even if it is a tree which stands by itself. Hold on to what you must do, even if it is a long way from here. Hold on to life, even when it is easier letting go. Hold on to my hand, even when I have gone away from you. Our hearts go out to the Chisholms and the Keoghs and the LeBoy family and the Anthony family on the passing of our beloved Norman Thorpe. His funeral is on Sunday at 12:30. Boy, do we miss him. We are in a period of Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning for Martin Bernstein, the husband of Martha Bernstein and father of Michael Bernstein, and our beloved congregant. Royland Vert, the mother of David Zachman and mother-in-law of Bonnie. And Suzanne Yesnick, the sister of Margie Starr. We also recall the yardsites, the anniversary of the passing this week, of Roseline Solomon, mother of Deborah Gibbs, Stella Koenig, mother of Jim Koenig, Leslie Irving Kay, father of Marcia Singer, Stuart Hike, former husband of Susan Tauber, Esta Spitzer, mother of Richard Spitzer, Barbara Averett, sister of Wendy Demp, Miles Jaffe, father of David Jaffe, Stephen Reifler, brother of Deborah McElroy, and Rose Demp, mother of Barry Demp. If there's anybody else who's the anniversary of their passing who you are observing this evening, whose name you'd like to share with us, I invite you to do so. We join together in the Kaddish Tome, the Mourner's Kaddish. We rise and we turn to page 78. Yitkadal v'kadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divarach yiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayechon uvyamechon uv'chayed zechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lamei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'pa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitzadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shamei dekudesha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata ta'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. May the source of peace bring peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved here and everywhere, to which we say, amen. You're right, I'm sorry. Thank you, Richard. Thanks, Rich. Funeral's at 12. Did I say 12:30? It's at 12. Thank you, Rich. I appreciate it. Thank you, Spitzer. Can't run a place without these guys. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, amen. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Please be seated. We are going to sing Kiddush and Motzi. And we're actually going to end with En Keloheinu, and then we're going to do Kiddush. En Keloheinu is on page 82. En Keloheinu, En Kadoneinu, En Kamalkeinu, En Kamoshienu, Mi Eloheinu, Mi Baruch Adonenu, mi kamalkeinu, mi kamoshienu, nodel Eloheinu, nodel Adonenu, nodel Malkeinu, nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu. We are going to finish with Kiddush and Motzi. Kiddush is found on 87. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat. Amen. L'chaim. This one not designed by the first and second grade. We haven't met in person in a few weeks. I'm sure there'll be a new one coming up at some point. Thank you, Jan, for procuring these chalot. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Well, my friends, Shabbat Shalom. Thank you all for being here. I'm glad we're able to be together. I hope everybody stays warm this week. We are meeting. We are having Family Ed this weekend, which will be very exciting. So we're looking forward to being back together. Thanks for being here. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
And 40 degrees predicted on Tuesday.
Perfect. It would be better on Sunday, but I'm going to have you be in charge of this, if you don't mind. Or give it to somebody to be in charge of it.
You guys want to